This is the story about the Bonanza King mine. If you read a lot of history on old mines, you will notice that there are almost as many Bonanza King mines as there are Burger King eateries. Almost every place that gold was found had either creeks or mines named Bonanza. It was in 1880 that silver was first discovered in the Providence Mountains way out in the Mojave Desert. This discovery would eventually lead up to the building of the Bonanza King mine. The prospectors who found the deposit didn't have the money to really do anything with it, so the deposit was sold to a group of miners in 1882, and it was then that it became known as the Bonanza King Consolidated Mining and Milling Company. Within a little more than a year, the mine had produced over $1 million worth of silver. In 1884, the mine built a 10-stamp mill to process their own ore. At first, most of the miners lived in tents and shacks, but soon a small town was built close by. This town became known as Providence because it was right close to Providence Mountain. By 1883, the town had over 300 residents and had a post office, 2 general stores, a couple of hotels, a few saloons, a blacksmith, a wagon builder, and a deputy sheriff. In 1885, the silver prices fell and the mine closed up for a short while. However, even with low silver prices, the owners decided to maybe put the mine back to work. The owners decided to actually increase production at the mine, figuring higher volume would offset the lower prices. In July of the same year, however, the mill burned down and the mine had to let the workers go. The mine never did rebuild the mill, but in 1886, it hired back some of the miners and sent its ore to the nearby Curran Patton mine, where there was a new stamp mill. It was this mine that kept the town of Providence going for a short time. Then the following year, the Panic of 1893 happened, and this was a devastating time as silver mines could no longer afford to be profitable. Then in February of 1894, gold was discovered just a few miles south of Providence at a place called Hidden Hill. This would be a boon for the town during a time of low silver prices, as many of the miners were now mining gold instead of silver. Then in 1906, a new company took over the Bonanza King mine and installed a new 10-stamp mill and worked the mine for close to a year. However, with a bit of a stock market crash that year, it was hard to raise funds, so the mine was closed yet again. Then in 1914, the price of silver was going up and the mine was reopened and had the stamp mill rebuilt. The company hired extra miners and started to modernize the mill with new hoisting equipment, and mining proceeded to go deeper as new shafts were put in. By this time, the mine depth was down 800 feet and the mine was producing good high-grade gold ore. The company even had a couple trucks that were hauling concentrates over to Fennel every day. Then in 1920, the silver price fell to $1 an ounce and the mine closed yet again. Then in 1923, the property was leased to a new company called the Bonanza King Consolidated Mines Company. The mine had about half a dozen men working on the lower levels, but by May 1924, the last carload of ore was shipped out and the mine closed for good. Today, there are just some scattered remains of this old mine. You can still drive up to the mine site and see the old head frame and old wooden sorting bins, but little else remains. I hope you enjoyed this short story about the old Bonanza King mine. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you more old lost mine stories.